dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow.
Welcome to High Boost Car Reviews. Today we have a very special review of the 2018 Kia Stinger GT. Now we have the GT1 today. Huge thanks to Vinnie and Global Auto Mall in North Plainfield, New Jersey. I'm going to have all of their information down below. You know, if you're interested in this car or any of the other cars in their inventory, great dealership. Huge thanks to Ed Rubino, too, for letting me do the review today and taking out the car and reviewing it. And just going over my general thoughts of it. And also, huge thanks to Vinnie for helping me out with the review, taking time out. So big thanks to them. If you guys are interested, I'm going to have Vinnie's contact information. Come see him. He's going to hook you up with a great deal. We're also going to go over the deals later in the video. But overall, you know, right now we're just going to go over our driving impressions. And but let me do some basic information first. The engine in this car is a 3.3-liter twin-turbo V6, producing 365 horsepower, 376 pound-feet of torque. So good horsepower, basically good output numbers for this car. You know, when I drove the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quattrofoglio a couple months ago, and I liked it. It wasn't great. I mean, it looked great. But the throttle response was a little flaky. It was a weaker engine. It was twin turbo, but I'm gonna go. You know, these are kind of direct competitors. You know, not direct, but somewhat. I mean, this is a sports sedan. That's a sports sedan, and I want to see how this twin turbo engine, how the throttle response is. This is all-wheel drive, and it is a dual overhead cam engine. So it's got 24 valves, 4 valves per cylinder. And then we do have the 8-speed automatic today. We're going to be testing that out. And then we do have these metal paddle shifters here if you do want to basically shift manually instead of using the automatic. We're also going to test those out. We have 19-inch wheels, which I really love the design. It kind of looks like it's center lock, even though it really isn't. But you know, the design of the wheels I love. I love the overall design of this car. I can't say enough about how much I love it. It's between the safety features, you have the luxury features. The seats are very nice. The bolstering, they're very comfortable. The overall design for around $49,000. It's really a bargain. You have performance. This is a performance-focused car. You can see with all the vents. You know, most of them are functional, which I like. I don't like fake vents. And the visibility is very good. The only thing I don't like is the rear window. But I mean, that's expected with, you know, a fastback designed performance.
Aerodynamics.
Yeah. So my favorite part of the car is probably the exterior design. Vinny, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but what's your favorite part of this car?
Well, I will say the wheel. The steering wheel is phenomenal. I think it gives a really sporty look, and then when you drive it, you feel really comfortable, and it gives you that feeling of steadiness on a sports wheel.
And I really like it too. It's with the perforated leather, especially, and it's flat bottom, so you can never beat a flat bottom wheel. But huge thanks again to Global Auto Mall in North Plainfield, New Jersey. Again, I mean, I really did enjoy this car. I'm happy to review it, and I'm happy to say good things about it, because that's honestly, I can't really find a bad. The only thing I don't like is the rear windows. The visibility is not great from back there, but you do have the safety features to provide, you know, assistance with the visibility. We do have a panoramic roof, panoramic sunroof here that really looks, I mean, it's excellent visibility. It kind of makes the car feel more open. And me being 6'2", I'm very comfortable. I mean, you know, you have a great audio system. You have, you know, the overall, it's a practical car. Going over it, it's a practical car. I'm comfortable. Vinny, you're comfortable. I mean, it does it all. That's one thing. And I can't. All the cars I've driven, like Camaros, Corvettes, Mustangs, they do something good. Performance. The interior is lackluster, but this car really does it all. I mean, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Compared to the Alfa Romeo, which is a bit more, the Quattrofolio is much more expensive than this car. Now you can get higher trim levels with this, but for what it is, for the GT1, I'm very impressed. I mean, it's an excellent design. You have the safety features, like Vinny was going over before, right?
Yeah.
We have
blind spot detector. You got the lane departure feature. You have the smart cruise control. You have the sonar system. Mm-hmm. So those are things that are incredible. Yeah, and it really is. So now, guys, we're gonna go for a drive. We're gonna be testing things like throttle response. How it performs, how it feels to drive. That's what I'm going to be doing in my videos now more, is how it feels to drive the car. And we're going to be testing out the drive modes and all that stuff, so let's get going. All right, guys, so setting off here in the Kia Stinger GT, the 2018 year model. We are in comfort mode. I'm going to start off there, and we're going to take it from there. We'll throw in the sport mode later. But this car's presence on the street, Vinny, me and you were both saying before, is just unbelievable. It's amazing.
And you really don't think it's a Kia. We're going right here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exit, yeah. So I do have it in manual mode. We're going to be testing out the paddle shifters right now. But just the road presence, it's like, it really, and I don't want to say this, but Kia, I never really thought of Kia as a performance brand. And it really isn't. But I never thought of Kia producing something like this, where it's performance focused, it's luxury, and it also has the safety features, convenient features. So it's like, it does it all. It really does, and I can't say that enough. But, I mean, this car, especially in this red color, is unbelievable.
Kia definitely has to step up their game in the last few years, bringing cars that are incredible.
Yeah.
You got the Sportage SX, which is an incredible vehicle.
Yep.
Sport, luxury, and the turbo engine.
Yep.
You got the Optima.
Yep.
And now they come with the Optima S, which brings a panoramic sunroof.
Oh, wow. Now, does it have a V6, or is that an inline 4?
No, that's 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
4. And now this, which comes to be the Pinnacle.
The Pinnacle, I was going to say that. And so they're doing the Sportage. What was the other one you mentioned?
The Optima S.
The Optima S.
They also do the Forte S, which has some features as well, but not as sporty as the Optima.
Yeah, and I mean, just immediately feeling in this car, it drives really nice. I'm kind of at awe. It
has a lot of power.
Yeah, and we're in bumper to bumper traffic right now, so we're gonna test acceleration a little bit. We're gonna see generally what it's just like to drive. I mean, immediate reactions, such a smooth suspension. We haven't really gone over any bumps, but just immediately, I feel like I'm on a cloud.
It is pretty good.
Yeah, and we are in comfort mode, but just the road presence of this car, guys, and not only that, but just the feel. It feels great. The suspension. Now we are in comfort mode, but the suspension is very soft, and I don't. How do I get this auto hold off? I don't like that auto hold. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I didn't like that, but the steering wheel immediately, guys. It's very easy right now. It's a soft steering feel, but basically, getting some looks. This car does turn heads. It really does, and
the sound is incredible.
Yeah, I can really hear it from here. It's like, wow. Here in the Kia Stinger GT, we have a nice flat bottom steering wheel with the little GT insignia right there. And one thing I did mention to Vinny was immediately that the steering wheel feels very nice. Now it's very loose right now because we're in eco mode, but the steering wheel feels great. It's a nice size. You have a nice Kia logo here, and then nice perforated leather. And it just feels really nice to hold. You have nice 10 and 2 notches right here. And then we also have our cruise control options on the right. to set it and reset it to cancel it. Also, Vinny, is this the lane departure warning?
That's actually the smart cruise control.
Okay.
So you can set up the distance where you want the car to stop. One is the smart cruise control.
Okay, and we did, like, guys, like we did mention that is also here we can see it, that works in, basically it works with the radar system, which you can see right here. This is the like Vinny was saying before, the sonar system. That's what it's called. So basically those two work together, and this system is very nice. I mean, you can see that this car is built with a lot of safety features in mind, also with the performance. Now you can also see right with this button that will go through the menu. That's basically to operate the menu in between the gauge cluster. And then going over to the left, we have our Bluetooth options, voice commands, and basically what mode. We're gonna press that, and then that can basically change your radio options. I'm guessing that mode can change what you want.
From FM to AM to XM radio or even media.
Okay. Perfect. And what is this button? I did want to mention that.
Yep, that actually, if you see the center cluster, brings you to different scenarios right here in the center cluster.
Oh, wow.
That you have all your commands and changing the sounds, the lights, the door. This vehicle has a lot of features that you can customize to yourself.
Yeah, that's one thing I just noticed, and that's actually a very important button, guys. You know, you can really, you press that little button right there, and you can go through any feature you want in the gauge cluster.
And that's also temperature, the torque.
Oh, wow.
Most, yeah. Back in the day, they used to have the little ones. Now they do it digitally,
yeah. And that's one thing I did notice in a lot of cars that I test, the performance cars, is that they have physical gauges or gauges on the screens. Now, basically, guys, now what Vinny brought us to is actually a very cool screen. First, what we're going to go over, the center stack here. We have two cup holders. I just have my phone in there, but we have two cup holders where you can fit beverages. We obviously have our gears selector, which you can put in park, reverse, neutral, drive, all that stuff, and then you can also put it in the manual mode, it looks like right there. We have the electronic parking brake. And then first thing we're going to go over is the drive mode. So right now, as you can see in the center stack here, the gauge cluster, we are in custom mode. That's the first mode we're going to go over. That basically you can adjust everything to your liking. So you know, if you want the transmission to have a more aggressive shifting, you can do that. You can see engine transmission. We're going to go over that first. It's in comfort. You can put it to sport if you want, and you could press OK. The steering wheel, if you want a softer steering feel, or if you want a more tight, heavier steering wheel for aggressive driving. The suspension, you can customize that, and then your drivetrain system, you can either do comfort, eco, or sport. And then, so basically, overall, with the custom, you can really change anything to really get your perfect driving experience between the engine, the steering wheel, the suspension, and then the drivetrain system. So next, we're going to go over by just toggling this button. We're going to go over to sport. Now, sport, basically, you can see here it shows we're in sport mode. We're going to go back, and that's just the main screen. But so sport mode basically, tightens up the suspension for better handling. The steering wheel is a little heavier, and then also the transmission revs to higher RPMs, so you can really get the most out of every gear, and you can really shift. You can get the most out of the transmission. You also have the aluminum paddle shifters here, if you do want to manually shift through the gears, which we're going to be testing them out later in the video. Alright guys, and then going into the next drive mode, which is going to be comfort, it's going to soften up the suspension, the steering wheel is going to be much easier to turn, and then the transmission is going to relax a little bit and, short shift for you to get better miles per gallon. Going over to the next drive mode, which is going to be Eco, we can also see it changes here on the screen, and then it goes away, but Eco is going to even more short shift. You're gonna the transmission is going to be very economical. It's going to shift around to 3,000 RPM. The suspension is going to soften up, give you a nice ride, just like in comfort. And then also the steering wheel is going to be nice and easy to turn. Also, going to the last one is going to be smart, which is the smart drive mode. Is basically going to sense you're driving and really say, you know, does he want more power? Does he want less power? And Eco Mode is really just going to sense your driving feel, and it's going to adjust it to what the car's computer thinks is the best setting for how your driving is. So it's really kind of like an automatic mode. You know what I mean? It's more of just like sensing what you want and giving it you want, depending on, you know, your driving, you know, adjusting the transmission, the suspension. We have a nice, very clean center stack. I see with most manufacturers these days, they really tend to clutter, you know, with million buttons. I mean, I've been in a lot of other sports cars and there's a million buttons here. And what Kia's really done is they've really simplified it. You have 2 cup holders, which are a good size. You have a very good feeling gear selector here. And then, like Vinny's gonna show us, we have some space right there for USB auxiliary and then charging options. We can see a 12-volt battery charger right there, a cigarette lighter. But the gear selector feels very nice. You have obviously your park, reverse, neutral, and drive, and then you can also put it in the manual mode. As I went over before, we have our electronic parking brake, our drive mode selector, traction control, and then Vinny, what's auto hold? I don't know what that one is.
Auto hold allows you to push this button, and if you're in a bumper-to-bumper traffic, okay, you can let go after you completely stop the vehicle, let go of your brake, and the car won't move until you push the throttle, the gas.
Okay, okay. So that's also that option, and then we also have moving down to the center here. We
also get the heated seats.
Okay.
And you have auto stop on the engine.
Oh wow.
So if you want to have that, you push this button and the engine will completely shut off if you completely stop.
Like a red light.
Yeah, it will regain, you know, start again.
Yeah.
Once you push the gas
and that's a good feature, especially on a sports car. I mean, the auto stop feature, you have that in Camrys and more economical cars, and this is really a track focused car, but you do have that option. And then I'm guessing this is park assist.
Yeah, that's the sonar system in the vehicle. When you get closer to walls, you know, or cars that are parked, it will, you know, emit the sound for you to, you know that you're getting closer.
Yeah.
Now that button is right there because some people might feel like sometimes they want to turn it off, so they can do that as well.
Yeah. And then also, it is on right now, but we also have the steering wheel.
The heated steering wheel, that is
which is great. And then I love the center stack here. We are going to check. We have some storage space there, and we also have a little bit here of you know, the center console here is a good size. You know, I'm going to put my phone in right now. We also have a little coin tray right there. You know, you can my phone. We don't have any other much stuff, but I mean, it's a good size. You know, it's about, you know, 5-6 inches deep. But it's a good size. You could definitely fit some things in there. Over to the center stack here. One thing I noticed when I first walked in, Vinny, was the metal buttons. Now you don't see that many these days, and even a higher end sports cars you're gonna see them. But even in, you know, middle of the road, I mean, this is definitely a competitor to the Alfa Romeo Giulia, and then, you know, the BMW, you know, M4, M3. But one thing that I'm very impressed is that Kia put in these metal buttons. It's a very nice feel. Obviously, you have, I just pressed the hazards there, but it's got a nice, very luxurious feel to it. You have your radio options, media options, navigation, map, and that's really going to go and bring us to the touchscreen display here in the car, which is a nice location. I mean, you're sitting here now. It is a touchscreen, so you do have to reach over. There is no button down here, but very nice. You know, it's very simple. You have, you know, if you go to your radio options, you have FM, AM, Sirius, and then, you know, let's say we put on Sirius right there. You're gonna have your basically your radio station on the right. You have presets, channel lists. So that's basically it's a nice clean, very nice clean layout. But that's the radio. We're gonna press the home button here, and then you have your climate control options, which is also down here, which I did forget to mention. You have your climate control options. Very simple, you know, these nice metal knobs, and to control basically the AC, the heat.
Now, one of the things that is important to mention is that it has the auto temperature, so you can see that you can have your temperature and your passenger can move the temperature as the driver can have their own temperature as well.
dual zone climate control in the front. Yeah,
exactly, and that's something that is very nice. Most people like it. And another thing is you have right here all your navigation, your maps as well, which is not set up because the car just got here, but that's another feature that is very cool and very important.
Yeah.
Now, once you come up here, one of the things that Kia did with this vehicle, and is very good for people that likes to use their phone a lot, is the Android Auto and the Apple CarPlay.
Okay.
Right now, you know, as we know, most people has, you know, the devices, and they like to have their addresses stored in their phones, so it will communicate directly with the car. It will even, you know, work with Siri, so that'll help you find places or go places just by the voice command.
Exactly, and it's something that people are used to. The Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, they look like their iPhones, they look like their Android devices.
Correct.
So people are used to it. If you don't want to learn the Kia system, then, which I think is very simple, and it looks actually really nice, just had the way it kind of feels like a German, the way the Germans do it, and it really, it's a nice design.
See on this vehicle is the UWO services, which allows you to download an application to your phone and communicate with the vehicle. You can run diagnostics, you can find where your car is being parked by Parking Minder. You can create My Car zones. That means you can put a zone in the vehicle. If you give the vehicle to somebody to drive, they know not to drive somewhere, and they do, then it will tell you where the car is going. If you decide not, you know, you don't want the car to go, you give the car to somebody. You can, like I said, run diagnostics to the vehicle, which is very important. If something is, you know, malfunctioning or something, you can you know by running the diagnostic.
And it's very, the system's impressed me a lot, just the amount you can do on it.
Yeah. Now, another thing that this system has, it has a setup for if you were in an accident, God forbid, it can put you in contact with authorities with the 911 system with this vehicle, and it's a very important thing too. It's right here, the 911 Connect and the Parking Minder and the My Car Zone, all right there.
And this car is basically, Vinny, right, fully loaded almost. I mean,
this one is almost fully loaded, yeah.
Because I know there is a GT2 package.
Correct.
There, where you do get the heated and cooled seats.
Exactly.
Right now we just have the heated, and then you do have a little bit more seat function. All right, guys, so going over to the back of the Stinger GT here, we're going to see, I mean, I'm 6'2", sitting behind myself. I have a lot of leg room. The seats are very comfortable. Now, they have this plastic over them. That's just because they haven't sold the car yet, Global Auto Mall. But if you are interested in this car, I'm going to have all their information down below, and please check them out. Contact Vinnie. He's going to hook you up with a great deal. But I'm going to have all of Global Auto Mall's information down below if you do want to check out their inventory. I'm going to have Vinnie's information too. But going over to the back, we have very nice seats. You know, the headroom is pretty good. You know, I have about an inch, and I'm a tall guy. But we have great leg room. We have also these nice, just like in the front, we have the kind of like turbine style you know, air vents here, which look really cool, and they also feel very expensive. They feel really nice to move around, and you know, the air conditioning's great. It is a hot day here in New Jersey. We also have a 12-volt power outlet cigarette lighter, and then we also have a USB port down here. I'm going to show you guys. So you have great, you know, options for charging your phone, and you know, if you need the cigarette outlet, you can do that, the cigarette lighter, or you can have the USB port. But also, it's just a lot of good, it's very good leg room. I feel very comfortable, and you know, the cabin's somewhat spacious, but you know, I really like the interior. I give it probably a 9 out of 10. It's excellent craftsmanship, and the legroom back here is great. The seats are very comfortable. All right, guys, so going over the door here quickly in the back seats, it's similar with the front seats, but you have a Harman Kardon audio system, which we're going to test out later in the video, but a very nice design. It's got that kind of like Mercedes design where they have like the round silver disc, but I mean, you have Harman Kardon in very high luxury German, Japanese, and American performance and luxury cars, and the Kia, for Kia to put this in the GT Stinger, or the Stinger GT, you can really see here that, I mean, it just looks great, and the Harman Kardons are a well-known audio system, and it really does sound good. All right, guys, so opening the Kia Stinger GT's trunk, we're gonna have kind of, you know, it has that fastback design, but it has kind of like a hatch trunk. We have excellent storage space back here for, you know, I'd say at least 2 suitcases. Down below we have a spare tire, you know, if you do run a flat, so that's a nice option there. And then you can move down that. Vinny's gonna put that down, and we're gonna see the overall size of the trunk here. You know, it's got one thing I really like about cars. Well, one thing I really like about cars that I've, you know, especially I have a Ford Fusion. When the loading space, some cars, especially performance cars, the loading wall is very high, so you kind of have to drop them in. But as you can see here, the loading wall is very low, so it's going to be easy to get a couple, at least 2 big suitcases, you know, one big, one medium. But you have a lot of space back here. You definitely could daily drive this car.
Yeah, now one thing that is very important to mention too is the fact that you can drop these seats if you need more cargo space.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
So they go flat, and then you can pass things through.
Okay, yeah, and that will give you that extra, you know, availability of space if you do need to put, even, you know, if you're going away, or even if you just have groceries. This is the perfect, you know, perfect space. So I really do. It's a very practical car, and this trunk is large, and it gives you a nice space. Guys, so going over the lights here, we have, now they are flickering the daytime running lights because of the frame rate, but you can see that I just love the lighting on the Kia Stinger GT. We have here the headlight, the high beam, and then we have these daytime running lights, like a little strip there, which makes the car look really aggressive and more like a concept car. Also, one thing that the Stinger GT is known for, and something I really love, is the turn signal cluster. It's like a cluster of LEDs. It looks like a little fighter jet's coming out, but it just the whole headlight structure. It's a nice design. You have modern functions with the LED turn signals, the daytime running lights, and obviously these beautiful headlights. I'll give you a better look. They kind of look like eyeballs, but I'm going to show you a view from the front where it just looks mean and aggressive. It is sunny out today, so it's kind of hard to see them, but you know, we're gonna go over to this one, and it looks like a concept car, and I love the turn signals. They look very modern, very elegant, and the whole headlight structure looks great. I give it a 10 out of 10. V6, you have instant boost.
There we go.
Wow. Sounds good. Puts a smile on your face. It really does. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. And I haven't felt this way in a long time. The same feeling I got was in the Camaro SS, which is a 6.2 liter V8, much bigger engine. But for Kia to do this, I mean, wow, this is unbelievable. I mean, and we haven't even done much. I've done just a little bit of a pull, but Vinny and I were both saying, like,
now you can feel the control that you have with the vehicle. You really feel it. It's really
exactly.
nice.
And we're just in comfort mode, guys. This is not even sport mode. I just thought about that. But the throttle response is a 10 out of 10. You know, there's no turbo lag. Just like the Alfa Romeo, I stepped on it and then the boost hit you. This is very much, yeah, it's a linear. You have instant torque, 375 pound-feet of torque, 365 horsepower, and it's just like, wow. The speaker system we also tested very good. I mean, the Harman Kardon, they never let you down, Harman Kardon. It's really a great sound system. But Jesus, I mean, that was comfort mode. I think we're gonna throw in the sport and just see how that changes up a bit. I kind of want to hit all the drive modes a little bit and then test out each one. Comfort I like, guys. I kind of expected comfort though, you know, but that acceleration, and that wasn't even, I mean, I was a fourth throttle, I just went a little bit into it, and
you felt it already.
Yeah, it throws you back in your seat. And I mean, wow, unbelievable car, unbelievable. Once we get out of this traffic, guys, we're gonna really test it.
Route 22.
Yeah, Route 22, New Jersey, North Plainfield. But you know, and this is New Jersey, so everybody's tailgating us. But I mean, this car really does turn heads too. I mean, it's a great looking car. Kia really hit this car out of the ballpark. I mean, they really put put a lot of time. It looks like a concept car too. I mean, it's the sound is great. Now, this is just out of my nature. I like loud cars. I would do a little bit, you know, I would do a little
louder.
Little louder. I would do a little louder. But that's me being young. I mean, I would do a little louder. There's a lot you could do with this engine. But even stock, the exhaust is good. It's not great. It's good. But especially while you're driving, it's great. I mean, you know, and I come from, I love muscle cars. I love Dodge Challengers. I love that stuff. And so I was thinking about it last night. I was like, you know, I wonder what this is going to be like. And it really impressed me. Really. And I'm coming from I love V8s. Never was a big fan of twin turbo V6s. But this has changed my mind. You could have a lot of fun in.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, you step on it.
And you feel it.
You feel it. And that's basically, they have basically eliminated turbo lag. It really is amazing.
Yeah.
You know.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. That's only 4th gear.
That's just 4th gear, guys, and we have 8. Now, I'm guessing the last couple are just for fuel economy purposes, but still, I mean, you have 8 gears to work with. And that was just in 4th gear. I mean, if I did a 2nd gear pull, we'd probably spin a little tire here. I mean, this is an all-wheel drive system, so, I mean, I feel very much in control when I'm doing, and I'm not doing anything crazy. This is just a little acceleration. But, I mean, you could have a lot of fun with this car. Get in this lane. Just a little bit more space, maybe. But also, guys, just the steering wheel. I mean, right now we are in sport.
So you feel a little bit tight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. The steering wheel feels somewhat the same. I like heavier steering wheels, but it still feels good. One thing I'm impressed with is the suspension. The suspension feels a little bit more tighter. I can feel that, even though this is a somewhat smooth road for New Jersey, surprisingly. And then also the throttle response is much quicker. But you know, we're going to go into other drive modes later, but I mean, overall, I mean, the acceleration's impressed me, and we're going to come back with you guys in a little bit once we do a little bit more testing. Okay, so also one thing I did want to mention is the paddle shift response, because some people, they're afraid to go to the paddle shift automatics.
Yeah, well, not a lot of people knows how to handle them, and that's what happens.
That's the thing, I mean, I'm a manual guy, I like manual cars, but this car, I mean, I drove a Ford Mustang, 2018 year model, guys, GT, and I used the paddle shift because it was the 10-speed automatic. The paddle shift response was terrible. You hit it, it was like a 2-second lag, then it upshifted. So you ended up redlining the car. This, I mean, bang, it almost feels like a dual clutch. Yeah. I mean, and it isn't. It's a single clutch, automatic 8-speed, and it just feels utterly excellent. The shifting, you can downshift. The shifts are immediate. And that's what I'm comparing to. It's almost like a dual clutch. It's kind of very impressive how they can do a single clutch and feels like a dual clutch. To wrap things up, the Kia Stinger GT really impressed me. And Global Auto Mall has been great. You know, providing me the car. Again, I thank them. My overall thoughts, we're going to give, you know, me and Vinnie and I are going to give our overall thoughts on the car. We're making it right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what had really impressed me is the output of the engine. You know, you have your 365 horsepower out of the 3.3 liter, somewhat small displacement V6, but you do have the twin turbos to help. But I mean, it's really impressed me. It's an overall great car for every day. This is a perfect daily driver. It's a sports sedan. You can take it to the track. You can take the family to soccer practice, to dinner, anything. You can fit 5 people in here comfortably. You have great tech features with the digital gauge cluster, and then also you have your 8-inch the 8-inch touchscreen system, infotainment system, which is absolutely excellent. And you do have the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay options. But overall, I love it's very clean center stack. Transmission's great. The suspension's great. The drive mode's really, it's perfect for every situation. So, Vinnie, what's your overall thoughts on the car?
You know, a great car, a great design, inside and out. Like you said, perfectly car to take to the track, to just take it for a daily ride, go to work. Definitely torn heads.
Yeah, that's one thing.
It's a vehicle that it will definitely knock your socks off.
Yeah,
a wonderful vehicle.
It really is.
I'll invite everybody to try it at least once.
Yeah,
come and see it, because I think it's gonna change the whole perspective about Kia.
Exactly.
As a brand. and sports cars. You know, one of the things that is very important is the fact that, like you said, you can seat 5 people in here. Most of these sports cars have a center divider, so in the back you can only see 2 people.
Yeah.
Here you can definitely get 5 people in, and that's pretty good.
And Vinny's 100% right. It really changed my mind about Kia. I wasn't a big Kia guy before this. Now, I would look at their other cars, their other sport performance cars. We're gonna go here. Wow. Now, it did upshift me. Like I was saying, sorry guys, we just had to turn on the local highway, but like Vinny was saying, totally changed my perspective of Kia and what they're capable of. Now I'm getting little warnings on the gauge cluster here about lane departure and all that stuff. But overall, yeah, it turns heads. The styling is excellent. And now this is going to be a bold statement, but if I had to pick between the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quattrofoglio and this car, the Kia Stinger GT, I would probably get the GT2, even though the GT1's great, has everything except for the cooled seats and a couple other seating options. If I had to pick the 2 guys, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm not just saying that because I'm with them right now. This is an honest statement. I like the Quattrofoglio. But I would pick this car. Because I like the engine. I'm a car enthusiast, and I like the throttle response. We're going to downshift to the 4th. And you step on it. There you go. And you get what you want. You get what you ask for. And that's what I like. You get what you ask for. You put in a certain amount of the throttle, and you immediately get what you want. Now, obviously, the twin turbo setup helps, and this is a larger engine than the Giulia, but I would still pick this. I think it looks better, and the engine is, I'm going to be honest with you, the transmission and the throttle response is much better than the Giulia. It really is after driving both. I don't know if you've driven the Giulia.
No, I haven't had the chance.
Yeah, to compare the 2, I would pick this one. I do like the way the Giulia looks, but I would pick this one even though this is, you know, a little less horsepower. It doesn't matter because the way it makes you feel, it really does. I mean, it's premium. The interior is very premium construction in the way everything's laid out, and I really like the car. I really would. If I had the money, I would buy this car over, you know, other sports sedans in this segment. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Vinny again for coming out. And big thanks to Ed Rubino and everybody at Global Auto Mall in North Plainfield, New Jersey. And check them out. I'm going to have their information down below. Again, I give this car a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Really, really impressed me. Really changed my mind about Kia. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.